The stars had always fascinated Alex Reyes, but this mission felt different. He had traveled through countless star systems, seen planets with colors he couldn't name, and met species whose forms defied human imagination. Yet, when he received Lyra's invitation, a small pang of nervous excitement filled him that no starship or battle could ever bring. The message had come on a quiet evening aboard the Vanguard, his personal exploratory vessel. Lyra's words had been warm, personal, and somehow full of hope. She smiled. "My dad will like you. I know he will. I promised. I'll make sure you're proud." Alex read it again and again, savoring the confidence behind her smile, the unspoken challenge behind her promise. Lyra was young, barely 26 by human standards, but her diplomacy work was respected even among the most rigid alien councils. And now she wanted him to meet her father, Elder Kethrin, a figure known throughout the Lyrian's quadrant for his sharp intellect and even sharper judgment. The thought made Alex pause. He wasn't a diplomat. He was a soldier, a strategist, a human who thrived on problem-solving and action. But Lyra's faith in him was unwavering. She believed he could impress her father, and more than that, she believed humanity deserved recognition on worlds that had long been skeptical of them. Packing his essentials, Alex allowed himself a small smile. "All right," he muttered. "Let's make her proud." The journey to Lyra's home planet, Silvara Prime, was not easy. Located on the edge of the Erythian expanse, it was a planet of deep sapphire oceans, floating mountain ranges, and cities carved into the crystal cliffs. The travel alone required multiple jumps through wormholes, navigating gravitational anomalies, and evading a small fleet of rogue traders who seemed unusually interested in human technology. Alex piloted the Vanguard with quiet precision. He had always enjoyed flying. There was a rhythm to it, a dance of vectors and velocity that made everything else fade. But even in the cockpit, his thoughts drifted to Lyra's words, the weight of her hope pressing on him. "Humans are interesting," a voice crackled over the comm system. It was Syra, his onboard AI, calm and analytical as always. "I'm not sure interesting is the word she meant," Alex replied with a small laugh. "She wants me to survive her dad's tests, not just impress him." "Your odds are statistically lower than optimal, Commander," Syra noted. "Lyra's father has approved fewer than 10 humans for personal council meetings in recorded history. All others were dismissed after preliminary observation." Alex exhaled slowly. "Well, that makes me human enough, doesn't it?" Syra didn't reply, but Alex knew she understood the sentiment. Humans had survived impossible odds before. Humans had thrived where others hesitated. That was the point of being human. The unpredictability, the ingenuity, the refusal to bow down simply because the challenge was immense. After days of travel, the Vanguard finally emerged from the last wormhole into Silvara Prime's system. The planet hung below them, its oceans shimmering like molten sapphire, dotted with floating cities that glowed softly in the sunlight. Alex felt a thrill he hadn't experienced in years. He had seen hundreds of planets, but there was something about this one, something alive, intelligent, and expectant. They descended through layers of atmosphere, past towering cliffs that reflected the light in thousands of shades, until the ship hovered over the city of Valera, carved into crystal cliffs and connected by shimmering bridges. Lyra had arranged everything. Even the landing pad was personally prepared. As Alex stepped out of the ship, he felt the alien air brush against his skin. The gravity was slightly lighter than Earth's, and the wind carried a salty tang from the distant oceans. And then, he saw her. Lyra was waiting at the edge of the landing platform, her dark hair pulled back in a simple braid, her eyes bright with anticipation. She waved, a simple, human gesture that immediately put him at ease. "Alex," she called, her voice carrying easily across the breeze. "You made it." He grinned and moved toward her. "Wouldn't miss it for the universe." There was a moment of quiet between them, just the hum of the city and the distant cry of seabirds. Alex noticed the way Lyra's expression softened when she looked at him. She believed in him and humans even when the galaxy often did not. "You know," she said, My dad isn't easy to impress. But I think he'll like you. Alex chuckled, scratching the back of his neck. I hope so. I really hope so. She smiled, and for a moment, all his doubts melted away. Elder Catherine's chambers were a marvel of design and function. Carved into the highest peak of Valira, the room seemed to float above the clouds. Crystal panels reflected soft light, and the walls hummed faintly, resonating with a gentle energy that reminded Alex of Earth's mountains, only alive in a way he could feel in his bones. The elder waited calmly, seated upon a low, crystalline dais. His skin had a subtle iridescent sheen, and his eyes held centuries of wisdom and caution. He regarded Alex without judgment at first, simply observing, as if weighing every movement, every nuance, every thought. Lyra stepped forward. Father, this is Alex Reyes. He represents humanity. Oh, Elder Catherine's gaze shifted to Alex, sharp and penetrating. I have heard much about your kind, he said, his voice low, deliberate. Stories of courage, curiosity, and chaos. Alex swallowed and bowed slightly. I hope the stories are accurate in a good way. For a moment, the elder said nothing. Then, in a voice that was almost a sigh, he said, We shall see. The first challenge came quickly. Alex was guided into a simulation chamber, a virtual environment designed to test his diplomacy, intelligence, and moral judgment. Lyra's father explained it simply. We test not only your skill but your character. Your actions reflect not just yourself but your people. The simulation was unlike anything Alex had faced. He encountered scenarios where alien factions were on the brink of conflict, where critical decisions had to be made in seconds, and where conventional tactics would fail. Alex relied on human instincts, empathy, improvisation, and creativity to navigate each scenario. He brokered peace where others would have fought, solved puzzles using unconventional methods, and even found humor in tense moments, easing the virtual tension. Lyra watched quietly from an observation deck, her expression softening each time Alex's humanity shone through. He was clever, resourceful, and most importantly, genuinely concerned for others. She realized, with a smile, that she had been right. Her father would like him. Hours later, the simulation ended. Alex stepped out, exhausted but triumphant. Elder Catherine approached him, silent for a long moment, studying the human before him. Then he spoke. You possess qualities that few of your kind have shown in my presence. Courage, empathy, and wisdom. It is rare to see humanity act with foresight, rather than impulse. Alex's heart lifted. Thank you, sir. I promise to make Lyra proud. The elder's eyes softened slightly. She is wise to trust her instincts. You may yet prove humanity has value beyond stories and legends. Lyra's hand brushed against Alex's, a small, quiet gesture. See? She whispered. I told you he'd like you. Alex smiled, feeling a warmth that no starship, no adventure, no victory could match. He had stepped into alien skies, into the scrutiny of civilizations, and found that humanity's greatest strengths were not in weapons or technology, but in heart, ingenuity, and the courage to rise to any challenge. Above them, Silvara Prime's twin suns began to set, painting the crystal cliffs with gold and amber. Alex knew this was only the beginning. Ahead lay trials, negotiations, and adventures that would test him further. But for now, he had kept a promise to Lyra, and to humanity itself, and that, he realized, was enough to make even the stars smile. Alex woke early, though sleep had been fleeting. Silvara Prime's twin suns rose over the crystalline cliffs, sending golden and violet streaks across the sky. The city below was alive with movement. Aircars glided between crystal towers, and citizens of many species walked along suspended bridges that shimmered with energy. Lyra was already waiting outside his temporary quarters, her expression a mix of excitement and determination. Come on, she said, her voice brisk. Father wants to show you the next phase of your trial. Alex followed her through the streets of Valira, absorbing every detail. Unlike Earth, everything here seemed to hum with life. The buildings, the energy bridges, even the water flowing along the canals, had a subtle glow. Humans rarely visited planets like this, and Alex could feel the weight of every eye watching him. Some were curious, others skeptical. But all were observing a human in the heart of an alien civilization. "You'll need more than skill to impress my father," Lyra explained as they walked. "He wants to see your ability to adapt, to think quickly, and to maintain honor under pressure. Some humans fail simply because they act too boldly or too cautiously." Alex nodded. "I guess I'll find out which I am soon enough." They entered a massive hall that resembled a planetarium more than a traditional chamber. At its center was a circular platform that hovered slightly above the ground, glowing softly. Around it, holographic projections displayed scenes from distant planets, cities under siege, ships navigating asteroid storms, alien diplomats arguing in tense chambers. Alex could feel the simulation's complexity before it even began. Elder Kethrin appeared from a raised doorway, his presence commanding yet calm. "The next challenge is not a test of strength, Commander," he said, his voice echoing slightly. "It is a test of perception, strategy, and diplomacy. You will face scenarios where every choice has consequences. Success depends on understanding, not force." Alex glanced at the holograms. One projected a planet on the verge of civil war. Another showed a colony trapped in a storm, while foreign ships circled overhead. He took a deep breath. Humans thrived under pressure, he reminded himself. Creativity was a human superpower. The first simulation was the Civil War scenario. Two factions, the Thari and the Orlan, were at each other's throats, each convinced that total victory was the only option. Alex stepped onto the platform, feeling the hum of the energy beneath him. The holograms shifted to show each leader, their eyes filled with suspicion and fear. Alex spoke carefully, using calm, measured words. He asked questions, learned their concerns, and found the small points of common ground that could serve as bridges. At first, the holograms resisted just as Elder Kethrin had predicted, but Alex persisted. He suggested compromises, small steps toward mutual respect. Slowly, the conflict de-escalated. Both factions agreed to a temporary ceasefire, surprised by the unexpected human approach of patience and reasoning. Lyra watched from the observation deck, her smile growing. "That's him," she whispered. "That's the human I know." Alex stepped down from the platform, the first scenario complete. He felt a spark of pride. Not for himself, but for what humanity represented: creativity, empathy, and the ability to find solutions where others saw only walls. The next simulation was more physical, though not in the way Alex expected. He found himself aboard a virtual starship, caught in a violent meteor storm. Alien ships flanked his vessel, threatening to attack if he made a wrong move. The challenge tested navigation, quick thinking, and leadership under stress. Alex's hands moved instinctively, guiding the ship through the tumbling asteroids. He calculated angles, anticipated trajectories, and coordinated the crew, all holographic, yet every action felt real. At one point, an asteroid broke off and spun directly toward the control panel. Without hesitation, Alex threw the emergency shields and maneuvered the ship around it, saving both crew and vessel. "What would a human do differently?" one of the alien observers asked, whispering to another. "They improvise," the other replied. "They don't just follow protocol. They create solutions in the moment." Alex smiled faintly, realizing they were watching humanity in action, analyzing what made humans unique. Every instinct he had relied on in countless real-life situations now served to prove the same point. Humans were adaptable, courageous, and inventive. After the meteor storm, the final scenario tested moral judgment. Alex entered a room where holographic images projected a colony in danger. Supplies were running low, and two groups of aliens each required aid. He could only save one completely, or attempt to ration and risk failure for both. Most of the aliens would have chosen the obvious option: save the largest group, maximize efficiency. Alex paused, considering the potential outcomes. Then he remembered Earth's history, the stories of people risking everything for others, even when the odds were against them. He divided the resources as best he could, coordinating temporary solutions for both groups. Some suffered minor setbacks, but no one perished. More importantly, Alex arranged for further aid, setting up a sustainable plan that considered long-term consequences rather than immediate gain. Elder Catherine's voice resonated through the chamber. You see beyond the obvious. You consider the impact on all, not just the majority. That is rare, Elder Catherine's voice, even among your people. Alex exhaled, exhausted but satisfied. This was more than a test of skill. It was a demonstration of human perspective. Humans had flaws, yes, but they also had the ability to act with conscience, foresight, and courage. After the simulations, Lyra guided Alex back to a quiet terrace overlooking Silvara Prime's oceans. The twin suns were setting again, casting orange and pink reflections across the water. You did well, Lyra said softly, her hand brushing his arm. You didn't just pass the tests, you showed them who humans really are. Alex chuckled. I hope my kind can live up to that. Lyra shook her head. They already do, Alex. It's just that many aliens don't see it yet. But you've reminded them. Alex looked out at the horizon, thinking of Earth, of humanity spread across the stars, often underestimated, often challenged. Yet here, in an alien world, under the watchful eye of Lyra's father, he had proven that humans could rise above expectations. That's the thing about humans, he said quietly. We can survive. We adapt. We care even when others think we're reckless. Lyra smiled, leaning slightly closer. And that's exactly why I knew you could do it. That night, Alex stood alone on the terrace, gazing at the stars. Silvara Prime's twin moons rose, reflecting silver paths across the oceans. He thought about the challenges ahead, the council meetings, the negotiations, the crises that would surely test humanity's limits once more. But for the first time, Alex felt a profound confidence. Not arrogance, not bravado, but quiet certainty that humanity had something unique to offer. Creativity, courage, empathy, and an ability to act in ways that no other species could predict. And perhaps, just perhaps, Lyra's faith in him wasn't misplaced. As he turned to return to his quarters, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. The council, her father, and the galaxy at large would soon see what he had already begun to understand. Humans were capable of greatness, not just in warfare or technology, but in wisdom, honor, and heart. Above him, the twin moons shone brightly, and Alex whispered a promise to the stars, to Lyra, and to humanity itself. I'll make you proud. And for the first time in a long time, he knew he truly meant it. The next morning, Silvara Prime's skies were painted in pale orange, signaling the start of another day. Alex woke early, feeling a mix of anticipation and curiosity. Today, he would meet Elder Catherine in a more personal setting, not through simulations or guided observation, but one-on-one. It was a rare opportunity. Few humans had ever been allowed such access. Lyra was already waiting outside his quarters. Ready? She asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Alex nodded, straightening his uniform. As ready as I'll ever be. They walked together through the crystalline corridors of Valira. The walls shimmered with embedded light strands, casting soft, moving patterns that seemed alive. Citizens passed them, pausing briefly to look at the human walking beside Lyra. Alex noticed the curiosity, but he kept his composure. He had to demonstrate humanity's qualities, courage, respect, and intelligence, not just to impress, but to earn trust. At last, they arrived at a secluded platform that overlooked the vast ocean. Elder Catherine awaited, seated on a simple yet elegant chair carved from crystal. His posture was relaxed, but his eyes were sharp, observing every detail. Alex Reyes, the elder said, his voice calm but commanding. You have completed the initial tests. You have shown skill, creativity, and A surprising measure of empathy. Alex bowed slightly. Thank you, sir. I am honored to be here. Elder Catherine gestured to a bench beside him. Sit. Let us talk. Alex took a seat, careful to maintain a respectful distance. Silence settled for a few moments, filled only by the sound of wind brushing the crystal cliffs. Then Elder Catherine spoke, not as a judge, but as a curious mind. Tell me about your people, he said. Humans are often described as unpredictable. Some call you reckless, others call you brave. I want to know which you truly are. Alex considered this. I think humans are many things at once. We are curious, sometimes too curious. We are bold, sometimes to our own detriment. But above all, we care. We care for each other, for life, for possibilities. That drives us to survive, to adapt, to create solutions, even when there seems to be none. The elder studied him, his expression unreadable. And this care, as you call it, does it extend beyond your kind? Alex nodded. It has to. We've survived because we learned to work with others, even when they are different. Even when they don't trust us. A faint smile appeared on Elder Catherine's face. You speak wisely. Few humans do. Lyra watched from a short distance, observing the subtle connection forming between Alex and her father. She had seen skepticism in Catherine's eyes before. Yet now there was curiosity, genuine curiosity, as if the human sitting beside him was opening a window to something entirely new. Alex continued, feeling more confident as he spoke. Your world is incredible, he said. The cities, the technology, the way life and energy seem to be one. It's beautiful. I have seen many planets, many civilizations. But Silvera Prime is different. It feels alive. Elder Catherine's gaze softened. Perhaps you notice more than others because you are an outsider. Outsiders often see truths that natives overlook. Alex smiled. Maybe. Or maybe humans just pay attention when it matters. For the next hour, they talked. Alex shared stories of Earth. Its triumphs and failures. Its wars and alliances. Its art and science. Elder Catherine listened intently, occasionally asking questions that revealed his sharp intellect. He challenged Alex with hypothetical situations, moral dilemmas, and strategic puzzles. Alex answered each honestly, combining logic with intuition, strategy with compassion. At one point, Catherine leaned forward. Imagine your people face a choice. A powerful enemy threatens one of your colonies. You have the technology to destroy them, but at the cost of innocent lives. What do? Alex paused, feeling the weight of the question. We find another way, he said finally. We try diplomacy, diversion, strategy. We minimize harm. If destruction is unavoidable, then we accept responsibility and work to rebuild afterward. Humans don't take life lightly. That is our strength. And sometimes, our curse. The elder's eyes narrowed slightly, then softened. You are honest, at least. And perhaps that is the human way to act, reflect, and learn from consequences. After the serious conversation, Elder Catherine suggested a walk along the cliffs. Alex followed, stepping carefully over crystalline paths that glowed underfoot. The ocean stretched endlessly, shimmering like liquid sapphire. You have shown courage, Catherine said. But courage alone does not earn respect. Humility, patience, and understanding are equally important. Do you possess these? Alex smiled faintly. I try. I've learned that being human isn't just about facing challenges, it's about how you face them, and who you bring with you along the way. The elder considered this. I see. And this young woman, he said, glancing at Lyra, who trailed slightly behind them, has placed great faith in you. You honor her trust? Alex nodded. I will. Lyra believes in humanity and in me. I won't let her down. For the first time, Elder Catherine seemed to relax. His expression was less like a judge and more like a teacher evaluating a promising student. Very well, he said. You have begun to understand our ways, and perhaps in doing so, you are teaching me something about yours. Alex felt a thrill. He was here not just to represent humanity, but to demonstrate what humans could offer: courage, empathy, and integrity. The peaceful moment did not last long. A sudden alert from Lyra's comm panel drew their attention. A nearby sector of the city was experiencing a structural collapse, a rare but dangerous phenomenon in the crystal buildings. Citizens were trapped on bridges, and the standard emergency response was delayed by technical glitches. Elder Catherine looked at Alex. This is not part of your test. But perhaps it is now. Without hesitation, Alex ran toward the affected area, Lyra close behind. Using human instincts and experience in crisis situations, he coordinated rescue efforts. He directed citizens to safe zones, utilized alien technology to stabilize the structures temporarily, and even climbed onto precarious ledges to help stranded individuals. Lyra watched, amazed. He doesn't just think, she whispered. He acts. He inspires. Within moments, the immediate danger was mitigated. The citizens were safe. The bridges stabilized, and the emergency teams arrived to finish the rescue. Elder Catherine joined them, observing silently as Alex gave instructions and ensured that everyone was accounted for. Finally, the elder spoke. Impressive. You did not hesitate. You acted not for glory, but because it was necessary. That is what humans call responsibility, is it not? Alex nodded, breathing heavily. Yes. We take responsibility for what we can control, and for those we can help. That is what matters most. Catherine's eyes softened. Indeed. You are beginning to demonstrate the qualities I hoped to see. Perhaps my daughter was right all along. Lyra's smile widened, her eyes sparkling with pride. She had known Alex could impress her father. But seeing him in action, combining courage, intellect, and compassion, surpassed even her expectations. That evening, they returned to the terrace overlooking the ocean. The twin moons had risen again, casting silver reflections across the water. Alex sat quietly beside Lyra and her father. You are extraordinary, Catherine said simply. Not because of your skills, but because of your character. You represent humanity in a way that few have ever seen. Alex smiled, feeling the weight and warmth of those words. Thank you, sir. I only hope I can continue to live up to that. Lyra leaned closer, whispering, See? I told you. He'd like you. Alex looked at her, then at the elder, and realized something profound. This wasn't just about one human earning the respect of one alien leader. It was about what humanity could achieve when it combined courage, empathy, and intelligence, about the potential of humans to inspire trust and cooperation across the stars. As the wind brushed across the cliffs, carrying the scent of the ocean and the hum of life, Alex felt a deep sense of purpose. There would be more challenges, more tests, more decisions to make, but for now, he had formed a bond that went beyond species, beyond suspicion. He had proven that humans were capable of greatness not through weapons or dominance, but through wisdom, compassion, and action. And he had done it not just for himself, but for Lyra, for her faith, and for the hope of all humanity. He whispered a quiet promise, meant for Lyra, her father, and himself. I will make you proud. Above them, the twin moons reflected in the crystal ocean, and for a moment, the universe seemed to pause, acknowledging the courage of a human who dared to stand tall among the stars. The morning air on Silvara Prime was crisp and full of energy. Alex woke with a sense of anticipation, though not the same excitement he had felt during the simulations. Today, the challenge would not be theoretical, it would be real. A sudden alert echoed through the crystal halls of Valera. Lyra met him at the landing platform, her expression tight with concern. Alex. There's trouble. Not a test this time. Something's happening in the neighboring sector. A trade convoy has been intercepted, and hostiles are threatening the surrounding settlements. Alex's mind went immediately into action. Show me, he said. They rushed to the observation center, where holographic projections displayed the crisis in real time. Alien ships, far larger and more heavily armed than any human vessel Alex had piloted, had surrounded the convoy. On the surface below, settlements were vulnerable, with civilian transports trapped between natural obstacles and aggressive maneuvers by the attackers. "This is no simulation," Lyra said. "If you make a wrong move, people could die." Alex nodded, his hands already moving across the holographic controls. "Then we make the right one." "Could." Elder Kethrin appeared beside them, calm but concerned. "Commander, this is your chance to show the Council, and yourself, what humanity is capable of in true adversity. Your decisions now will affect not just our people, but the trust between our species." Alex took a deep breath. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, but he did not hesitate. Humanity thrived under pressure. Humans adapted, improvised, and acted where others hesitated. The first step was assessment. Alex scanned the area, calculating trajectories, speeds, and potential weak points in the enemy formation. The hostiles were organized, efficient, and aggressive. A direct confrontation would be disastrous. Instead, Alex focused on unconventional tactics, strategies that alien commanders often overlooked because they relied too heavily on rigid protocols. He began issuing commands to both human and Lyrian ships, coordinating their movements in a way that combined speed, distraction, and precision. Small teams created diversions, drawing the enemy away from vulnerable transports, while faster ships evacuated civilians. Alex's instructions were clear, concise, and adaptive. He anticipated enemy maneuvers and adjusted plans in real time. Lyra watched, awestruck. "He doesn't just fight," she whispered to Kethrin. "He thinks. He sees opportunities we might miss." Elder Kethrin nodded slowly. "Indeed. This is the human advantage, creativity in action, courage under pressure, and the ability to inspire others." As the battle unfolded, Alex noticed a critical danger. One of the convoys was trapped in a canyon, surrounded on three sides by enemy ships. Traditional weapons could clear the area, but civilians would be caught in the crossfire. Alex thought quickly, recalling Earth's old methods of diversion and ingenuity. He issued a daring command. "Deploy decoy drones equipped with holographic signatures of the convoy." The enemy ships, unable to distinguish between real and fake, pursued the decoys. Meanwhile, the trapped transports moved slowly but steadily through a narrow escape corridor, guided by human pilots under Alex's direction. The tactic worked, but not perfectly. One enemy fighter managed to break through, closing in on the rear of the convoy. Alex didn't panic. He combined evasive maneuvers with a human improvisation he called pressure timing, forcing the enemy to choose between attacking the convoy or being trapped themselves. Within moments, the fighter was neutralized, and the convoy continued safely. Lyra's eyes widened. "I've never seen anyone think like that," she said. Alex gave a brief smile. "Humans improvise. That's how we survive." The crisis escalated when more enemy ships appeared on sensors, far larger than expected. Some had advanced energy weapons capable of devastating the terrain below. Kethrin's council members voiced concern. A direct fight could escalate into full-scale war. But Alex did not hesitate. He saw the solution not in brute force, but in strategy and communication. He ordered a small strike team to disable the lead ship's energy cores, using speed and stealth rather than firepower. Meanwhile, he opened a secure communication channel to the enemy commander, exploiting human diplomacy and understanding of psychology. Using calm, measured words, he offered terms of negotiation, showing strength without aggression. To the surprise of all, the enemy paused. They were taken aback by the unexpected combination of intellect, strategy, and compassion. Alex continued, explaining that attacking civilians would not only provoke retaliation but also damage relations across multiple systems. Slowly, the enemy began to withdraw, recognizing the wisdom in Alex's approach. Elder Kethrin watched in silence, then finally nodded. This is impressive. Humans are not merely fighters or explorers. They are thinkers, negotiators, and leaders. You have demonstrated qualities few other species possess. Once the immediate danger was over, Alex and Lyra led recovery efforts. Citizens were safe, convoys reached their destinations, and damaged infrastructure was stabilized. Alex's human instincts for organization, empathy, and foresight guided every step. Even minor details, ensuring the frightened were comforted, coordinating medical aid, and documenting damages for rebuilding, were executed with precision. Lyra observed him, pride evident in her gaze. "He doesn't just solve problems," she said quietly. "He inspires people to act with him." Alex glanced at her, humility in his expression. "We all have to act together. Humans, Lyrians. Anyone willing to help. That's how we survive and succeed." Elder Catherine approached, placing a hand on Alex's shoulder, a rare gesture of respect. "You have exceeded every expectation. Not only have you protected lives, but you have shown the Council that humanity possesses qualities that are rare, perhaps unparalleled: courage, wisdom, and empathy in action." Alex felt a surge of pride, not for himself alone, but for the recognition of all humans. Humanity had long been underestimated, dismissed as reckless or impulsive. Today, in real-world crisis, humans had shown their true potential, that creativity, intelligence, and empathy were as powerful as any weapon. As the sun set over Silvara Prime, casting golden reflections on the crystal cliffs, Alex stood with Lyra and Elder Catherine on the observation terrace. The twin moons rose, silver light spilling across the ocean. "You have proven yourself," Catherine said solemnly. "Not as a human among aliens, but as a being of principle, courage, and intellect. You honor your people, your friend, and yourself." Alex bowed slightly. "I only hope I can continue to live up to it." Lyra's hand brushed against his, warm and reassuring. "See? I knew you could do it," she whispered. Alex looked at her, then at the elder, realizing the weight of the moment. This crisis had tested his mind, courage, and heart, and humans had passed where many others might have failed. He thought of Earth, of humanity spread across the stars, often underestimated but capable of greatness in the face of adversity. For the first time, Alex felt something he had rarely allowed himself: a quiet confidence. Humanity had a place in the galaxy, not just as survivors or explorers, but as problem solvers, peacemakers, and leaders. He whispered a promise to the stars, to Lyra, and to Elder Catherine: "I will make you proud." And as the twin moons reflected on Silvara Prime's oceans, Alex knew this was not the end of the challenges ahead. It was only the beginning. Humanity had shown its worth, but the galaxy was vast, full of unexpected trials and opportunities, and he was ready not just for himself, but for all who depended on humanity's courage, ingenuity, and heart. The next morning on Silvara Prime, a quiet excitement lingered in the air. The events of the previous day, the crisis, the rescue, the successful negotiation, had not gone unnoticed. Word spread quickly through the crystal cities, and whispers of admiration for Alex Reyes traveled alongside the twin moon's silver reflection over the oceans. Lyra met him at the terrace outside his quarters. Her eyes shone with pride, but there was a deeper seriousness in her expression. "Alex," she said, "today is the council meeting. They are going to formally review what happened yesterday. Your actions. They'll determine how humanity is seen here." Alex nodded, feeling the familiar mix of anticipation and responsibility. "I understand. But I don't need recognition. I just want to show what humans can do." Lyra smiled softly. "That's exactly why they'll respect you." The council chamber was a massive, circular hall, carved from Silvara's crystalline cliffs. Light flowed through every surface, creating a shimmering rainbow effect across the room. Delegates from multiple species, including the Lyrians, gathered in quiet anticipation. Each seat was filled with attentive faces, some curious, some skeptical, and others clearly impressed by the reports of Alex's actions during the crisis. Elder Catherine led Alex into the chamber. The elder's eyes met his, conveying both confidence and expectation. "Commander Reyes, Catherine said, his voice steady. This is your moment. Alex stepped forward, taking a deep breath. He looked across the assembly, then spoke. Honored delegates, my actions yesterday were not the work of a single person. They were the result of teamwork, humans, Lyrians, and others working together to protect lives and maintain peace. But if my actions have taught anything, it is that humanity values courage, empathy, and cooperation above all else. These are qualities I hope can contribute to stronger bonds between our peoples. A murmur of approval ran through the chamber. Many delegates leaned forward, listening carefully. Alex continued, his voice steady. We may be new to parts of this galaxy, and our methods may seem unconventional, but humanity has always survived by thinking creatively, acting decisively, and caring for others. That is our strength. That is why we are here to learn, to share, and to stand alongside you as allies, not just neighbors. Elder Catherine rose, his hands resting lightly on the crystal podium before him. Commander Reyes has shown us qualities that transcend the boundaries of species. In a crisis, he displayed intelligence, courage, and compassion. He demonstrated that humans are capable of wisdom in action, not just theory. And he has proven that humanity has value far beyond stories and myths. The council members nodded, some exchanging thoughtful glances. One Lyrian delegate spoke next. We have seen few humans face such a complex situation with both strategy and empathy. It is clear that Commander Reyes embodies the potential of your species, not merely as warriors or explorers, but as leaders and collaborators. Alex listened quietly, feeling a mix of humility and pride. This recognition was not for himself alone, but for all of humanity, a species often underestimated. Now seen in a new light, Lyra stepped forward and placed a hand gently on Alex's arm. Father, she said, I told you. He is not just capable, he is extraordinary. He is human. Catherine's gaze softened. Indeed, my daughter, I see now why you trusted him. Not because he is human, but because he is honorable, intelligent, and brave. Alex looked at Lyra, remembering the first time she had smiled at him with confidence. He had promised her he would make her proud, and now, in front of the council, in front of the elder who had once been so cautious, he felt that promise fulfilled. After the formal recognition, the council invited Alex and Lyra to a private audience. Elder Catherine led them to a quiet observation deck overlooking the ocean. The twin moons reflected silver paths on the water, casting soft light across their faces. You have earned my respect, Commander Reyes, Catherine said, his voice calm. Your actions have proven that humans are capable of understanding, adaptation, and leadership. You have not only shown what you are capable of, but also what your people can contribute to the galaxy. Alex bowed slightly. Thank you, sir. I only acted as I would hope any human would. I did it because it was necessary, not for recognition. Catherine nodded. And yet, recognition is deserved. Not for you alone, but for the human species. It is rare that we witness a species demonstrate both intellect and empathy so clearly. Your deeds will be remembered here, and your example will open doors for others of your kind. Lyra's hand brushed against Alex's again. I knew you could do it, she whispered, her voice filled with pride and warmth. Alex smiled. We did it. Humanity did it. And you were right. Lyra, you always believed in me. The evening brought a celebration at the city's central plaza. Citizens of Silvara Prime, along with delegates from nearby sectors, gathered to honor the actions of the human who had helped prevent disaster. Holographic displays recounted Alex's strategic maneuvers, his coordination of rescue efforts, and his diplomatic negotiations with the hostile forces. Children waved small flags representing human and Lyrian unity. Citizens cheered, their voices echoing across the Crystal City. Alex stood beside Lyra and Elder Catherine, feeling a deep sense of connection not only to the people he had helped, but to the potential of humanity itself. For the first time, Alex truly understood what Lyra had meant when she smiled and said, My dad will like you. I know he will. He had not only earned her father's respect but had shown the galaxy that humans were more than the sum of their mistakes, more than the sum of the myths surrounding them. Humans were capable of greatness, courage, and compassion. As the celebration continued, Alex reflected on his journey, from the initial invitation, through simulations, bonding moments, and the real crisis. He had grown not just as a human among aliens, but as a representative of his species. Each challenge had tested him, each decision had mattered, and each action had demonstrated the qualities humanity often took for granted: creativity, courage, empathy, and adaptability. He looked at Lyra, her eyes bright with admiration, and whispered, "I hope I've made you proud." She smiled, her gaze unwavering. "You already have, Alex. You already have." Elder Kethrin stepped forward, placing a hand on Alex's shoulder. "Your actions have ensured that humans are now seen as partners, not outsiders. That is no small achievement. You have honored both your people and the bonds between our worlds." Alex felt a warmth spread through him, pride, humility, and a sense of purpose all at once. He realized that this moment was more than recognition. It was a beginning. Humanity had earned a place in this part of the galaxy, and he would continue to uphold the values that had brought them here. As night fell over Silvara Prime, the twin moons cast their gentle glow across the crystal cliffs. Alex, Lyra, and Elder Kethrin stood together on the observation deck, overlooking the ocean that seemed to stretch endlessly. "I came here hoping to show what humans could do," Alex said softly. "I never imagined it would feel like this. Like we've made a difference." Lyra leaned closer. "You have. And you've shown me, and my father, that humans are capable of more than most believe. You've made all of us proud." Elder Kethrin nodded. "Indeed. Your deeds will be remembered. Humanity has shown its worth, not through domination or force, but through intelligence, courage, and empathy. That is a rare combination, and one that inspires trust." Alex looked at the moons reflecting on the ocean, feeling the weight of his journey and the promise he had fulfilled. He thought of Earth, of humanity spread across the stars, often underestimated but capable of incredible things when they acted with heart and wisdom. He whispered to himself quietly but with conviction, "I promised." Lyra's hand found his again, warm and steady. "Yes," she said, "you did. You made me proud." And in that moment, Alex realized something profound. It was not just the approval of one alien elder or the admiration of one human ally that mattered. It was the proof that humanity, united by courage, empathy, and ingenuity, could rise to any challenge and inspire others to believe in them. The stars above Silvara Prime twinkled in silent applause, the twin moons' reflection shimmering on the ocean. Humanity had been tested, and humanity had prevailed, and Alex knew this was only the beginning of their journey. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and opportunities, but humans had shown that they were capable of greatness, and wherever the next challenge appeared, he would be ready for Lyra, for Elder Kethrin, and for humanity itself, because now, he had proven not just to them, but to himself, that humans could be heroes,